Hey, welcome back to the SBP Podcast Mobile Filmmaking. I'm your host, Susie Botello, in case you forgot, and you are listening to episode 172.
We are Fade into Film.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fade into Film show panel. We've got Joey Min and Levi Austin Morris. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Hello.
A little under the weather.
A little under the weather for Joey. You're not under the bed, are you?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Or in the bathroom. Are you in the bathroom again?
Oh my god, dude, that would have been an awesome
yeah,
podcast if my microphone was working.
That would have been fun.
It was good to listen to it, huh?
Yeah, you had things to say.
You did.
There was literally a party going outside because I was schmoozing with people, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do a podcast in the bathroom." Just,
I love that.
I'm
love
gonna
that
have to
so
send you
much.
business cards so that the next time you say I'm gonna do a podcast in the bathroom, you can hand out cards and let people figure it out.
And then Susie has new guests for future podcasts.
Like- So guys, we're talking about our last podcast for the Fade into Film episode 171, because just as soon as we were a little bit in, about 50 minutes in, Joey's microphone died.
yeah.
And so he's since brought it back to life, right?
Yes.
Or-
Well, now I'm home, right? I'm not on the road. I'm not in like Canada, out of nowhere, so
in the woods.
In the woods.
Joey brings adventure to our podcast.
Yes, he does. Travel and adventure with
oh my
Joey.
gosh.
So we are going into 2024 ill-prepared. I may. It just seems like April 2023 was just like not that long ago, Levi.
Oh yeah, that I honestly feel like last year went by insanely fast. Yeah.
Yeah, and it totally did. And that's good. So we won't forget each other when we see each other again next April.
I remember what you look like.
Yes. Guess what I was thinking about? I was thinking about like what's in store for smartphone filmmakers in 2024. And I thought that probably by looking back a little bit at 2023, I think I have some ideas, guys, about what might happen. One thing that I've been noticing out in the chat rooms of America, no, I'm just kidding, whatever they are, out there on social media commentaries and things like that. One of the things that I'm noticing is a lot more people are saying things like we say, like, you don't need all that gear. It's not all about the gear. It's about the story. It's about, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that the other side of that, like Levi, you used a gimbal for making your film, and I'm sitting three gimbals. Gosh, because one's never enough. So me, on the other hand, I can't stand gimbals.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's my thing. And now there are, the technology on the phones has made the stabilization so good that we really don't need so many gimbals for everything. Like a lot of people use them for everything.
I don't think people use them enough. I think.
I agree.
Well,
I think people could use them more because I've seen some footage that gives me a headache.
Well, for movies though, I don't think you need them for everything. I think for actual movies, there are certain things that call for it. And it's the same thing with like promo videos, documentaries. They're pretty good for some things, but there are a lot of other things that really, if you're just whatever, they're just not for me. I don't really like them, but a lot of people love them. But I see more people agreeing with that they don't really need them as much. you
Well, I
know?
mean, I think with the advancement in technology and like I'm excited. I haven't purchased it yet, but I have plans in 2024 to upgrade my phone because I still have the 11 Pro.
Mm.
So I plan going up to the 15.
Nice.
And I'm excited to play with all of the new toys that I can, with that. But I do acknowledge that I think that the technology is improving. So some things, like case in point, I used Filmic Pro for filming Paralysis, and I think that the Apple team has sort of made that app not as necessary because you have access to filming in log or filming a certain frame rate or just on the iPhone now, which is not something that we had the access to when I first started with the 4.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've also noticed lenses. Lenses are doing the same thing where not a bunch of people are using lenses. And I don't know if this, we hear more about iPhones than Android phones and things like that. But
That's because they're superior.
so according to people, the lenses on the iPhones are getting so good that they don't really need lenses, which is weird. But there's still no anamorphic lens.
I mean, I will say to
there?
each their own. I still love the anamorphic lens so much, and I love the moment lens. Like it gives me a
Yep.
beautiful bokeh background, So I really enjoy playing with lenses
Yeah, something
over
I need
filters.
we all know that one of the pioneers in this industry, Filmic Pro, pretty much, even though they're alive, there's no one there that was working with them originally, and
Yeah.
it doesn't look like they're doing much of anything with it other than just being there collecting what they can. And that's not Filmic Pro. Just understand that I'm talking about the company, the Bending Spoons company. But another thing that has happened since, and more quietly, by the way, is Moondog Labs. Moondog Labs is kind of quietly sort of disappearing. And I went to verify my suspicions, and sure enough, it looks like all the products on their website are sold out.
Oh,
So, yeah. So
that's sad because that is quite literally my favorite lens. Is the
and
Moondog
they're
Lab.
also pioneers as well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And they were in my podcast way back, kind of like, I can't remember the number of the episode. You guys, I hope you don't expect that much from me.
I think listeners are okay not knowing that. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I'll put a link to it if I remember. I'll throw a link under in the notes. But basically, they started out. They were making their first anamorphic lens when Sean Baker reached out to them and told them he wanted one. And so they rushed him the first one, and they were invited to see Tangerine with them at Sundance.
I mean, that's amazing. And that movie is still, I think, brilliant. So, it makes me sad because I think they are, like, they were, I just thought that movie was so brilliant. And I remember when I first started iPhone filmmaking, I had no money at all. And so I was like dreaming of the day that I'd be able to either afford the lens or win the lens, because I knew that your festival, I knew that was one of the prizes. When I first submitted my film in 2015, I was like, ooh, maybe I'll win that lens that I've been wanting for so long.
In 2015.
It was
in
when
2015 they weren't in our festival.
There was another festival then. Somebody had that as their prize, and I remember being like, I want that lens so badly. And then eventually I was able to purchase it and play with it, and it's literally my favorite lens. And then I won the last year, so I actually have 2 of them. And I happily took that lens again because I love it. So, yeah.
So anyway, there you go. So that's that's how that happens. But they're in the podcast. I'll share the link to an interview that we did with both the co-founders and owners. Anyways, so that was kind of sad. But in regards to what is happening as the phones, I think, keep getting better. Are you guys ever on social media looking at all the ads for all the stabilizers and tripod things and weird contractions that there are out there?
Are there anything differently
for cases
new?
And
or
yeah, they're just all, there's just such a the world is inundated now.
Yeah.
With microphones and for smartphones. Don't ask me about the quality of them. Microphones and little light things and little tripod things and little case things that turn into transformers or whatever.
I mean, I think with TikTok and social media growing into what it is and influencers becoming a viable career, I think that these technology companies are coming up with as many things as they can to sort of, and so some of them are cheap quality, but some of them get the job done. If you need a little ring light, you can now attach it to your phone, and you have a little ring light right on your phone. So yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing that many ads for them, but every once in a while I certainly do get like take your, vlog to the next level or whatever the kids are doing.
Right. Whatever the kids are doing.
Whatever they call them. Your content. Your content. That's what they say. Take your I still vlog, Joey. As you should.
It's so funny. But yeah, it's just incredible to me how we have mobile filmmakers who are saying, basically in a lot of ways, they're saying less gear is actually good. Concentrate on this other stuff, like the story and the filmmaking and blah, blah, blah. Let's not forget there's post. That also happens.
Yeah.
At the same time, how necessary is it? Because I think that the reason why we're seeing so many of these products, economical products, should we call them? I don't want to say they're cheap, because maybe they still work. Budget friendly, yes, inexpensive, whatever products. I think the reason they come is because they see an industry that they could benefit from.
Oh, for sure.
And that's why they're there. But for everyday cinematic mobile filmmakers, it's actually a little bit of the opposite.
So I have like this little drawer, this little cabinet that stores all of my gadgets, my phone gadgets. And it has grown massively over the years, but I will be honest, I don't use a lot of it. Like, it's something that I purchased either, back in the day when I only had a certain amount of money. So I was like, well, this is going to be good for now.
Yes.
So it was like the clip-on lenses or, and I have like a microphone that you can plug into your phone so that you have better quality that goes into your phone as opposed to just using the microphone that's built into the phone.
Right.
And so like there's little gadgets that I have, and I don't think that they'll ever not be like, even for filmmakers, like I still get excited about something new, like I haven't been for a little while, but like you, Susie, brought up the thing that you were talking, the
Zacuto.
Yeah, the Zacuto, and you're very excited about that, and so like,
excited that I knew exactly what you were talking about.
You did, and I actually have been getting ads for that now too. So I'm like, ooh, our phones are listening. But I haven't gotten like super excited about something, but I still do get excited, and I still do want to purchase it and play with it and see, will this become a part of my sort of tool belt? Because I still have the first gimbal I ever bought. It's not great.
I think you should definitely try it. I'm surprised you didn't get one with all the awards you've been getting.
Oh, well, thank you. You're sweet.
Well, they're gonna be at our film festival, so you'll have a chance. To
steal one from a filmmaker.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's supposed to be your prize. I'm going to take it now. Yeah.
I think, to be honest with you guys, we're talking about the Smart Z Finder from Zacuto. The thing that I think people miss a lot is that they don't understand that you could stick your entire hand in there, and that what you see isn't the view from a viewfinder. It's like the entire screen, and it's all nice and lit up in the dark. In like it's like you just walked into your own theater, you know. And you can still touch the screen and do all the controls, all the slides, all the tappings, and all the enlarge and pinching and unpinching and all that stuff that you do when you're using a camera app or whatever. You can still do all that. Heck, you can make phone calls if you want to. But
I mean, it does sound amazing. I just haven't been.
I just think it's underrated
more
because you can't see a lot of what it is until you literally see it.
Yeah, until you're playing with it. Yeah.
But I think people don't, and it's made really well done. It's like good stuff.
Every review I have seen, actually, like not just you, I have seen other reviews, and everybody's very positive about it. So,
you just have to get it in your hands. It's one of those things. It's like, guys, you just got to taste that Coke.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the soda.
Coca-Cola, clearly.
Yes,
clearly. This is a drug-free zone.
No crack projects here.
No crack.
Yeah, no crack. So we won't go there.
That's funny. That's funny.
So that's that. That's the end of our show. No, I'm just kidding. So what do you think? Why do you think? Now, I know this is going to sound really random, guys, but I got to tell you, I think on every movie set that I've ever been in, the C-stand gets a bad rap. And I really want to get C-stands. They're so expensive. But I want to get
They
some.
are stupid
it's
expensive.
It's my next, like, it's always on my wish list and always like, somebody else won't have one, right?
Yeah, it's not on my wish list because I have no space in my studio apartment for it. But it is.
I mean, space. Honey, you get your own bed, C-stand.
Oh, you see, I'll sleep on the couch. I mean, I feel like every filmmaker I've worked with, but granted, I come from an indie area, so I've not been on. Yeah, the indie filmmaker wants all the C-stands.
I know.
And usually can only afford to have one on set.
An entire U-Haul truck full of C-stands. I remember there was an intern there, and he was like, "So what do we do?" And I'm like, "You're literally just standing there. Look at that truck full of C-stands. Let's go. Bring them out, set them up, put them over here. They'll be gone in 10 minutes."
Yeah.
Because people use them for everything.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very versatile. So I want to bring a C-stand. And speaking of being on set, okay, why do we insist? I know why we do. So you've heard of filmmakers having a backup plan? And
Well,
then we have a backup plan to the backup plan? And then sometimes we need a backup to the backup plan that we backed up with another plan. Right?
Well, for myself, I'll be honest, I have been no. I have been somebody that from the beginning, like once I realized that I could make a potential career out of being a performing artist, because my background is in theater, it was no other option for me. Like that was what I was going to do. And then I made the switch to film in 2011. And so I've never had a backup plan because I'm the ignorant guy that's like, I'm just going to do this, you know? Yeah. I'm the guy that's like, this is what my passion is. And so I don't care how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Yeah. So I don't have a backup plan.
Yeah, well, I am so sorry to hear that.
I bartend for supplemental income. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think what happens is we bring everything. We bring everything and then some. Like you don't just bring the one mic. You also bring the just in case mic, and then the other one in case the real mic is out for some reason, and the just in case mic just dropped on the way to you, and now you're stuck with this third mic. But at least you're gonna get the shot, right? Because you got that mic. See. We bring so much gear to ours to just, and I'm just talking about traditional filmmaking. We bring boxes and milk crates, right, full of stuff. We bring trucks full of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of
Things
this
that never
stuff-
get touched during the shoot.
Yep, a lot. But they need
Yeah.
to be there just in case.
Yeah.
And that I wonder if we all need to get checked out by psychologists. Because
We're hoarding equipment.
we are really, yes. I'm sure somewhere there is somebody who says, I almost got divorced because of the room, right? Or something. I don't know. But we bring all this stuff. And
Yeah.
then here we are saying, like, we don't really need this much to make a movie on a phone. And I think there is a little bit of a difference between the two. The phone is the entire studio, basically, on its own, if you think about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely
It's
is.
very
Like
self-contained.
it can be the cutting room. It can be, it can be everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in traditional camera equipment, things are separated by
Sure.
nature.
Yeah.
You know, a long
I
time
will
ago,
say
I used
I
to
am
sell
still a-
electronics, and I used to tell people used to buy those electronic sets that were like, oh, here's the receiver, here's like a CD player, and here's a blah, 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 and here comes the speakers, and it's all one unit.
Yeah.
And I used to tell people, no, don't do that. Buy things separately because, you'll want the speakers from so-and-so. You'll want the
Sure.
receiver from so-and-so. These make the best, and you're stuck with all one brand if you do it the other way and you don't get the quality. But that's not the case with phones and camera equipment at this rate, because if we're comparing the two, first of all, we shouldn't be, back to back. Go ahead and say what you were going to say, because I think you're making my point too. Levi?
I mean, I was going to say, I still continue to bring this stuff because like when we shot Paralysis, we used an entire room to store, like, and we had a box full of sound equipment and a box full of light equipment and a box full of, whatever. And so it was like, I recognize that the phone is absolutely moving forward in that way. That maybe less equipment is needed, but I still love to have it on set because I am that technology hoarder, Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, if your phone goes out, it's handy enough to get somebody else's phone.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Most likely,
Like, we
even the
used
same
two.
model.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. We
know?
used two for Paralysis and they were different models, but we were
Yeah.
fine with that,
Yeah, and I think the systems are getting easier.
Yeah.
As far as like in the older days, like you could really tell the difference between a Sony and a Sanyo,
Sure.
video camera or something. And you're trying to, develop continuity on a narrative film is really hard to do when you're using,
Oh, yeah.
changing up the format left and right. So, and some people can notice it. Joey,
Yes.
you're so quiet. We need to bring up something here.
Well, no,
That'll
I
really
mean,
get your
I'm just like
juices
listening.
flowing. Yeah, I know, but you did that last time. You had a good
Well, I
excuse.
didn't have a microphone back then. Well, because like I think though, like even though, I mean, true, right? Like you don't really need a lot of equipment to tell a good story with the phone, right? But that's like when you have extra pieces of equipment, it's supposed to serve to tell your story better, right?
Yeah.
So that's really just. I'm still in
It's
that.
like you have more colors, right?
Yeah, more
to paint.
colors, more techniques, more, that's why I don't think I don't like having gear if you know how to use it is not bad, right? Like I know
Yeah,
people
yeah.
swear by gear, but like, hey man, if your whole thing is just like, like if your whole thing is a gimbal because everything is like you're always sweeping like your shots all the time, like
Right.
like
Mhm.
it's then I don't know, maybe okay, then it kind of loses its appeal kind of thing, right? But
Yeah.
Yep.
but sometimes you do need those cinematic movements, and
Yeah.
and I think a gimbal is a lot easier to just kind of have rather than just having a slider or a dolly, or whatever. So I'm a big gimbal guy,
I'm a big gimbal guy.
I think there is one guy who uses the gimbal unlike any other, and he's very artistic with it. Do you know who I'm talking about, Levi?
No.
He was in our film festival during the pandemic.
Which film?
He was a choreographer, Jamil Lawrence.
Oh. Okay, I think I remember seeing a dancing film. I would have to see it again, but yeah.
Yeah, he's
I
made
mean,
some.
there's
There was a film that we put it on Mobile Film Stories back then, and it is two guys on the beach
mm,
and a song.
okay.
And what he does with his he's also been on our podcast. He's a choreographer, and when Joey was just talking about the sweeping shots, he was talking about, you know, like on the Marvels, you know, that when they come down, you know,
Yeah,
the
and they've got
cameras
like a
come
crane
down
or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
shot, and they're all like draw, and they get situated, you know,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff he's doing.
Yeah.
Those grandiose type movements with the camera that are like crane shots and stuff, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
him dancing and following along with it and doing those movements. Incredible, incredible.
You were talking about Tangerine. We were both talking about Tangerine earlier, and I remember watching that movie. And there was a shot that it like the camera starts up by the sign of the motel that they're at, and it looks like a crane shot, and then it slowly comes down, and it's walking behind the two lead characters as they're having a conversation. And I remember being amazed at how they did that. And I watched a behind the scenes, and I mean, Sean Crane said, or not Sean Crane, sorry, Sean
Baker.
Sean Baker. Sean Crane is somebody I went to college with. Hey, Sean. Sean Baker.
Just got a shout out.
Yeah, just got a shout out. But Sean Baker said that they had, like, I think they had put it either on, it was either the end of a mop they had put, or
And
they
a
had put
ladder,
it on
stepping ladder.
Yeah, well, not even a step ladder, because it was a smooth, like, crane like movement that it was moving forward and the camera was coming down. But they had done it either on the tripod and just held the tripod as high as they could and then slowly lowered it, or they had put it on like a broom or a mop or something.
I know they did something with a ladder, the V-type ladders that you
Okay.
get up on.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what they did after that, but I know that
Yeah.
had something to do with it. And
But there's creative ways of
Yes.
getting shots like that, even with a phone.
Yep.
You know. Yeah.
especially with the phone.
I mean, especially like I
Yeah.
said before, when we shot Paralysis, the basement was so small. If we had a regular camera, we would not have been able to shoot in the basement.
Look, I've seen videos from way when I first launched the festival that are of there was one where a guy and his kid tie a cell phone camera up on a balloon at their balcony, and they let it go. I think it was in New York. And then
Okay.
they let it go, and then they went all the way out to the park
Wow.
to find it. But I guess they left their GPS on.
Sure, like
But
find
it
my
went
phone
up,
or something.
yeah. But it went up pretty high. There's so many things you can do. There was a guy that
Yeah.
sent us a video a long time ago. I think let me not name him, because if I name some old school student from my day, it might be the wrong one.
That's funny.
But anyways, yeah, he tied he somehow stuck the phone on a train and then captured it as the train is moving along.
Interesting, yeah.
And then he also tied it up to the track as the train is moving over, which he had to really secure because that thing shakes
yeah.
as it's going through the track. There's all kinds of things. He did the same thing with a bicycle.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things that you can do. Why bother with extra gear, guys? You can always just grab those broomsticks and
No, you stop it right now, Susie.
But it is
funny.
good though to have, and I think that's the main reason why we have it. It's like, well, what if, what if we need, or what if the occasion comes up? And that's where I've been with people and had some person, I'm just going to call him Joe. But Joe says, oh, you know what? If you want to get a shot like that, I got something that I haven't used that I know that will do it
Sure.
for us.
Yeah.
And everybody just starts drooling. Oh my God, what toy is Joe going to bring from his junk box?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it works. And it's
Yeah.
great. And they'll have a fun time talking about it later at the rap party. So
I mean, one of our guys brought a fun little light that had different functions on it. It was like a little cube light, but it had different functions where one of them looked like a TV, one of them looked like it simulated what a TV does, or it, like, so it was like we ended up using that light a lot, like in our movie, because it like had different settings that we could play with. So
And versatility.
And versatility, yeah.
So some of the things, like without me going over everything that I've got, because I've got a closet full of stuff too that I've played around with throughout over the years and everything like that. I guess it doesn't hurt, but just know that these are the kinds of things that you're not going to carry around with you every day.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things that a mobile filmmaker will take when they're on a shoot. They're planning on shooting.
But I'm sure though, like in pre-production, like if like the whole team would go over the script, and like if the DP or director already has an idea for a particular thing, like you guys should know what to bring during that particular shoot day.
Like it's planned ahead of time for sure.
Of course, yeah.
And I will say, I was making movies before I ever owned any gear. It was literally just me. The ones that I shot in 2014, it was me. I had a baby tripod that was 3 inches. Well, it was probably 5 inches, but I would carry it in my hands, and then the phone was connected to it. So we shot the entire that film that was in your festival, Susie, the first one, 90 Seconds to Live. It was just me with my phone on a very, very small tripod. I didn't have sound equipment. I didn't have lighting equipment. So if you have a compelling story, and that film, it was a tiny film, but it was in 3 or 4 film festivals.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because I actually have the same story just like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, so one of the first film festivals I ever entered, about I don't know, maybe 15 years ago now. It's the Philadelphia Film Festival, but
Yay!
yeah. So a long time ago, I shot this short film. It's kind of like a serious action thing. It's a short film, but I did it with this tripod that I bought from Best Buy. It was $35.
Okay.
And so I was also kind of recording I was filming the event, just for me. And one of the other filmmakers saw me filming the thing with my camera, and he pointed at my tripod and he started laughing, and he was like, "What is that?"
Oh man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's and I'm like,
did that my question is, how did that make you feel as that person? Were you embarrassed?
no. I mean, he's nowhere, and I'm where I am right now. So clearly, it's never, because he was already laughing at my gear, right? Then our movies came out. He didn't win anything, so
Sure.
So in the end, it's it really just means as long as it fits you're right. You could have a broom or whatever to get a particular shot, but that's not really. It's supposed to do a job, right?
Yeah.
So it's
whatever is supporting your story.
Exactly.
You could, I'm not gonna lie, the reason we have 3 gimbals, we started Paralysis with 1 gimbal, and the reason we have 3 is, and this is jankety, the gimbal that I owned, I had for years. It was I think when I had the 6, it was that gimbal, and so there's a weight restriction on that gimbal. And so it would
freak out, right? If it's too heavy,
it would freak out. And so in order to for the first few days of shooting Paralysis, we would tape a rock to the other side of the gimbal to counter the weight. And we did that for the first 3 days, and then my lead actress was like, "This is ridiculous. I'm buying you a gimbal that is higher quality, or not high, but has a higher weight thing." So she ended up buying us one, and then we ended up buying a third one before the end. But yeah, for the first, I want to say 3 or 4 days, we only had that small gimbal, and we were countering it with taping a rock, and it worked. You can watch the shots, and you would never know that.
Exactly. And
so yeah,
and that's the thing. I think I love hearing about filmmakers.
creative
Yeah.
ways. Yeah.
It's the what do you call it, like shitty rigs, right?
Yeah. Shitty rigs. Yeah.
I love that concept because like we definitely do
Yeah.
that, right? Like, especially
Yeah.
like certain ideas for certain shots. There's no apparatus that's built for like an idea that
Yeah.
maybe something completely different that you thought of course, right? So
I mean, yeah, I told the story where we did the Lazy Susan with the phone on it, and we just slowly rotated the Lazy Susan with the tripod on it, and that's how we got a shot in the film. So
love hearing that type of shit.
yeah.
There's so many ways that you can shoot so many different things. And I think what happens is like the smartphone, I mean, come on. It just is calling for like, play with me.
Yeah.
I could go anywhere. I could turn into anything. You could put me on a kid's toy and use me in a different way. I mean, the first film well, it's not the first film, but one of the first films that won in our film festival was Michael Corbell's Apple of My Eye, where he put it on his dad's model train, and then he also he used a crane shot. Basically, he was like in dolly shots, maybe not a crane shot, but for sure dolly shots, big tripods and everything like that, and put it on the track, for the dolly shots and stuff. And that little movie came out really good.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that I feel like the phone, the joy of the phone that you don't really get with other cameras because of the size of it, it can really fit in nooks and crannies, and you can see the world in a perspective that you've never seen it before. Like just that idea of putting it on a model train and taking that, like, there's you could literally tell a story, put a phone on a model train, have it go around it 4 times, and let the background story, like maybe it's a little boy who's watching it, and then like his family starts fighting in the background.
Like that. It's basically,
it's like a beautiful story you can tell there.
It's a story about a grandfather who is in love with trains.
Okay.
And he's in front of a store, at the window. With his granddaughter, I guess, and she asks him. He's just gawking at it, and she's like, what are you thinking, Grandpa, or something? And he says, "Oh, I was just remembering a story, something to that regard. I'm so sorry, sure. Michael Corbell. I'm hacking your movie here." I'll throw a link to that one.
Yeah.
So the grandfather says, and that's a line that sticks with me, is like, "Let me tell you a story." And when he goes to tell that story, it's that train going for the ride, through this huge thing that he's got in his backyard. It was his father. The thing is, his father passed away not long after that. But he had that, the apple of my eye. It's a really neat story, and I would just tell people to listen to episode 100. That one I know. Because it was our 100th episode. It was a special. It was with Michael Corbell, and he actually even got to talk to Steve Jobs about that movie.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So
that's very cool.
Yeah. So anyways, things that you could do with the phone that you normally wouldn't do with a traditional camera, and why, maybe the gear could be different. It doesn't have to be like big bloated gear, filmmaking
It can be a rock.
It can be a rock. It can be a train set.
It
can be rubber bands and, shoes, old shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I still think a C-stand would come in handy.
A C-stand would be so handy.
So, do you guys have anything that you'd like to say that you would think that would be some kind of a change or maybe an evolutionary movement of sorts for the mobile filmmaking community?
Yeah, I mean that one too, right? So with the advent of phones, right? Obviously, and how everybody's kind of using it now as a, it's a new screen that is part of, everybody's or most people's lives now, right? Like the concept of vertical cinema. Like I know that, some people are against it. Some people are like, they have their thoughts about it. I guess I'm just asking people here, like, what their thoughts about it, right?
Trash. No, I'm kidding.
I think I'll let Levi take this one.
Sure. I mean, I think my issue with it is I do feel like it would end up being a little bit of a gimmick. And for me, I think if we're talking about, let's use these tools in a way that is propelling the story forward, or that is, useful in that way. And I guess if it's supporting a story, but if it's just a gimmick, I come from an art background, and so I love when I can tell that a team has meticulously created the composition that I'm seeing on screen. Like I love, some of my favorite movies are when you can almost take any frame and it print out the screenshot, and it could be in a piece of art on your wall, like, because it's so well composed. And I feel like there's just so much black space on the left and the right when you shoot vertical, that it just really takes away from the cinematic experience, unless it was used in a creative way that supported the story,
Right. Well, actually, that's actually a funny thing that you say. You feel like there's a lot of black space on the sides
Yeah.
for vertical filmmaking, and not like the top or
Horizontal.
bottom. You don't feel like because like, okay, so right now I am working on a vertical cinema.
Uh-huh.
Sure, it's and I've been having difficulty in framing a lot of the couple of ideas of my shots. Then when I actually execute it, it's a little bit weird because I've noticed that I'm framing people differently, and I
Yeah.
have like a lot of negative space above their head because I'm trying to balance out the like
Yes, because
their
you have
Yeah.
to step
torso.
back so far out in order to get the whole picture.
Well, no, no, no,
right?
no, no. So I'm purposefully trying to still frame it for a vertical shot, but when I'm
Right.
like, but
Mm-hmm.
if you were to film a person, usually when we film like the gold, like the golden ratio, right? If the
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
fourths
Mhm.
or whatever, right?
Yeah. Where
Yeah.
it's like the
Right.
cross.
So it
Yeah.
makes sense because like how we see the world, it's in a like in it we don't look at the world vertically, right? So now
Yeah.
that I'm filming somebody, and like if they're just it's like in a dialogue or they're saying something, I notice that I have a lot of this negative space above their head because I'm trying to balance out what I think is negative space because it's just their torso or something. Like, maybe they
Yeah.
act with their hands or whatever, but they
Hmm.
don't, like, nobody is that super animated that their hands go up and down across their entire
Sure.
torso. So I'm having this difficulty filming. And I think it's also kind of fun though, doing like learning this way. Like, yeah, sure. I don't think that people would like to watch a full film vertically. I know there was like that company before. I think it was called Quibi or right.
Yeah, and they lasted for about a
I
week.
know, right? But they did have
Yeah.
some. They had that
There was
one.
a lot of shade at AFM for
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
there was like two films, and I thought that was kind of creative in terms like there was this. I forgot what
Mm-hmm.
film it was. Like he was in a car, but like anytime you turn your phone, you see the messages on his phone. But then when you turn it back to like landscape, it goes back to like cinematic mode. They had like a really cool
Sure.
interactive way of presenting that film because he was like talking to people on the phone and he's like reading his messages, and if you want to read his message, like I said, you turn your phone vertical and you get to see his message.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, but like a phone is a screen now that people are used to. So
Oh
it's
yeah, consuming
yeah,
consuming content on.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like I am trying to see what I can do with it. Like I have like good thing, like my thing is a little more creative than just straight up just like talking heads type of thing, but
Yeah.
I'm having a very difficult time.
Yeah, I mean it does, it sounds like a fun challenge and exercise. It sounds like it would be something fun to um just to see what you can do, and if you can I mean, I think there's also, you know, you could do the thing where you also have 4 verticals right next to each other, you know, and fill the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of fun things I think that you can do in
but then 4 verticals
that.
like next to each other, then you just kind of have like a normal.
There's some
I mean,
experimental
yeah, but-
films in
but-
our film festival from the beginning
Yes.
that actually are like that. There are like three panes,
Yeah.
and they alternate the story. There was one really good.
There was one that happened this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
This past year.
yeah they it had to do with scenes, you know, with mountains and skies and things like this and trees, and then it would become kind of animated and go into the next one and the next one, and then the other one would start, and they would follow each other with some cool experimental music. And those, you could see them still on a 16:9 screen, but they were
Yeah.
three
Vertical. Yeah.
images, screens basically.
Yeah.
So if it's something like that, yeah. But I mean, I think there have been some actual feature films, and I'm having a hard time remember which they were a long time ago, where they were having the different camera views, like they had all the camera views for certain people. Do you remember what this was, Levi or Joey? It was
No.
like they were showing so they had like 6 cameras or something like that, and they were showing the expressions of someone close up here, and then it was like the
Was
Brady
this just a
Bunch.
video on YouTube?
It was like a grid, like the whole movie was a
Yeah.
grid. Do you remember
Okay.
this?
Is it?
No.
So it was
Is
really.
it like that horror film where like they're having like a Zoom call or a Skype call?
Host or something?
No, it
The
was
Host.
like the whole movie was done like that. I can't remember what it was now. Now it's gonna eat me up. Because it's not right for me to just sit here now and Google what this was, but I shouldn't have brought it up. But it did come up. So whatever that movie was, hey guys, are you listening?
Yeah.
Not you.
Oh, not us.
Other
The
guys.
listeners.
They're always here. Don't
Yeah,
forget
I'm
them.
listening. Yeah.
Maybe, you know, you guys can tell me what that movie was, but it was basically like that. It was a continuous effect of cinematography through different screens on one screen. And they would have them playing out like here, this window, you know, window in window, picture in picture type thing, but all over the screen. It was really cool. Anyway,
Interesting.
I think not for the whole movie, but maybe for as an effect. It can
Yeah,
be done.
I think it could be something used in a very effective way.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So there you go. That's Levi's take on that. But again, it's for watching movies on a phone then basically, right, Joey?
Yeah, basically, yeah. That was
Yeah.
like I think that was what Quibi was for.
I mean, I think people ultimately will watch wherever they want to.
Oh
but
yeah.
to specifically watch a film in vertical, that's still kind of
That's
weird,
still,
right? Like I still think it's weird, and I'm making one, right? So
I mean, that's exciting,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see what you do with it. Like
For a
it's
longer
interesting
film,
to
I can
see
always
as
just-
a
turn the screen. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like initially I watch you know, like, oh, here's an ad for a movie, or here's whatever for a movie, and it's like, fine, I'll watch the initial. I'm not gonna go unlock the phone and turn it sideways for a 3-second trailer basically. But once I go, okay, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna watch this, I'm gonna watch more of that, even if it's a news story. It's like I'll just flip it sideways at that rate.
Yeah.
it is good. It's kind of funny though, because when now that I'm seeing with TikTok and everything, and the people that are trying like certain aspects of filmmaking, like through this short form content video, whatever,
It's a challenge.
right? But it's funny. It's like seeing people learn about filmmaking for the first time.
frustrating. It's so
It is frustrating because
Like,
everybody only focuses on one aspect of filmmaking. Like I know for a while here, it's like transitions. Like it's called a match cut, like lady, like
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's their
Yes.
whole. But that's their whole like Instagram, or that's their whole TikTok, and
Yeah.
and like some of them are creative, but that's their content.
Yes.
Like I hate
Forte.
saying that word, right?
No, but it's like there was a guy who's like literally just doing cinematic TikToks, and it's like but he's doing. I mean, it's he sets up a scene, and he like has figured out how to like light it and make it look moody, and then like he puts somber music under it, and people are like, "This is amazing, this is so beautiful," and I'm like, "You guys, he's just doing what fucking like it's so frustrating to me." I'm like,
it's called filmmaking,
like,
you know.
It's called filmmaking.
Oh
he's like,
actually,
you're all talking about how beautiful this is. It's
I actually I have the script somewhere, and I know I want to do a sketch on our YouTube channel where like I meet a new filmmaker, like a new age filmmaker, and it's somebody with a phone, and they just run around and like just makes crazy fucking movements with their phone, and I'll be like, what is this? Like I had this whole sketch for that, but I never got to do it yet.
I mean, that's a funny idea, because I do feel like that's what's happening.
It is. It's like
there's a bunch of reels like that on Instagram from channels that's all they do.
But that's the thing.
Here,
though,
let me watch me dip my phone into the river.
Yeah,
What's that?
exactly.
Like, dip it out, you know.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like it's really they're literally learning filmmaking like piece by piece,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it's funny if like I don't know if it would ever like blow their mind, be like, oh yeah, and you do that with a story that lasts more than say 3
Right.
minutes. Then you have a scene.
Yes. And then you can make a movie.
right? But then it would just
Yeah.
kind of
And
funny.
it literally is stitching.
It is.
I mean, you're literally stitching things
Yeah.
together. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole concept of storytelling is the timeline,
right.
you know, and that's how we edit them, and that's how we write them. That's how everything. That's why stories to me is like, oh my God, do people not realize stories is more powerful than money? Because it is. Because it's everywhere and everything. You can't kill it. I mean, you can't kill my story.
Yeah. No,
But
I
you
mean,
can't
because
kill it.
oh yeah,
And it
because somebody's going to
existed
retell
before
it. You know.
us.
Yep.
You know, but we're the ones that are turning stories left and right, even the same stories left and right, you know, from different perspectives. And even the story you told today, if you tried to tell it tomorrow, it wouldn't come out the same.
Yeah.
You're not even the same person right now as you will be 10 minutes from now.
Yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, obviously.
But
And
I would like to argue though that it's also because of the phone that maybe people's like attention span for stories have become shorter. Right?
I would
No,
say,
I mean, that's not an argument. I agree with that.
I would say
Social
that
media more than
it's not so much the phone, it's the amount of media coming at you, because it's not just a phone. It's when you walk into a restaurant now, they have screens everywhere. And they're advertising to you. The freaking menu probably just comes alive, and if there's a QR code, there you go. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, like, it's the amount of media that has gone crazy, and they are closer and closer to us. They're inside the house. At first they were on the TV set or on the radio, right? If you want to go back 1,000 years or whatever that was, you know. But it's like, it's the amount of media that has given us this short attention span. The phone is a part of the amount of media that we're consuming. But I wouldn't say
And how
it's,
we're consuming.
I think if it wasn't the phone, we'd have some other way. Remember
I
those?
mean, technology
still
has
have
become
one of those-
accessible, right? And I
You
think
know
that's
those
really
portraits?
nice.
Yeah.
Portraits for photographs,
Uh-huh.
which are now you just plug in your USB drive and there's all your photos, and they're just flashing by. You know, while they're just sitting there. Don't even go through a photo album. I haven't touched a photo album in forever. They're all on my phone, you know.
I actually just printed out a lot of the photos on my phone, and I've turned one of the walls in my apartment into sort of like a gallery. So
Is it all from our film festival? No, I'm just kidding.
sadly, the film festival is not actually on the wall. It's
Damn it, we didn't make it. But yeah, I think it's a lot of the media that we're consuming, and at the same time, it feels like in many ways the media itself is telling us about how ignorant people are at consuming media.
I mean,
You know?
I have like a crazy conspiracy theory for that, but I'm not gonna share it on here because I'm gonna look crazy. But yeah.
Oh,
Well,
now
you're
I'm
just gonna
message you
tease
on
us?
Oh, no,
Instagram,
no,
and yeah,
I don't think I should say it on here.
He doesn't have to. You don't have to
Yeah.
pressure him.
Well, but
At least,
I'll just say
put a
that.
hole in the story of this episode
Right.
and just leave it
it's a
there. catching
cliffhanger. It's a
breeze.
cliffhanger, Susie.
It's a
I think
cliffhanger.
the making technology so accessible,
Mhm.
definitely like we as like there's people that can
Well,
find ways to cheapen it, right? And that's the same thing when like before when digital video came out, and there are a lot more filmmakers that could learn because now it's accessible.
mhm.
It's now it's like on a like a larger degree with phones now everybody could make a movie. People could just have a very simple uh just they could just set up a camera and just stare at themselves for an hour, and like that's a
Yeah.
film because
Yeah,
I
because I say
Yeah.
so. Because because I created it. Because it's content. Because it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
'cause-
mess with my artist
Yeah.
sense of self being or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
and that's I think that's a
Yeah.
topic for another for another episode. I think.
Yeah. I think 2024, I mean, I don't know, for mobile filmmakers, and it's hard to stay on this, but like for mobile filmmakers, I think for one thing that's happened over the last 4 years or so is more feature films. More people are starting to make feature films. And there's also, at the same time, generally, there is more, I think, of a, how would you call it, appreciation for short films than there were a few years ago. And do you guys notice that too?
I mean, I think in the film festival sort of world, I see that. I see a lot of appreciation for short films in the film festival world, but I do think it's still very hard to. I mean, it's impossible to make a career out of short
Oh, yeah.
films.
Oh, yeah.
It's and so like.
Well, some would say it's hard to make a career in film anyways.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
But I do think that I think there is an appreciation. I think YouTube has made these things accessible to us. So I think a lot of people do end up finding short films on YouTube and spending 15, 20 minutes watching a short film.
And me, I find it harder to look at anything on YouTube anymore that's even 5 minutes because of the ads. It's just gotten too,
The ads are so
too
frustrating.
offensive
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I mean, that's on every social media platform, though.
Yeah, Amazon's going to bring ads. I'm like, okay, so then I'll just go check out Tubi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Tubi.
It's
I
free.
do. But
Yeah, Tubi.
Yeah.
Tubi is amazing.
I
Yep.
do love Tubi.
We're on there.
And,
We're on there with
yeah.
our stupid film.
So yeah, I mean, I also hope that mobile filmmakers will continue to unite and form things together that will benefit each other more, especially in the world of streaming and distribution. I think I touched a little bit about this, about what you can do. And I think the strikes had just started. So a lot of people were thinking about, we can't make money off the streamers. Well, no, because they're the ones holding the bag. What I'm saying is that there's a way that, and maybe we should talk about that someday on a whole other episode, about empowering yourselves with your films by forming communities with filmmakers, where you could do the same thing and form your own streaming networks. And maybe, bring in some short films, not just feature films, into the mix, because all the other streamers for the most part are showing, like Amazon, Tubi, all of those, it's all feature films.
I mean, yes, I do think this is a topic for another day, but it is something that, even when I went to AFM, it was something that came up in one of the conferences where people were asking about why short films are not on the streaming services. And ultimately, what they said at AFM, the people on the panel, was it comes down to money. And there is not, they have not found a way to make money out of short films, so they don't see a need to invest in it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I think it's a good topic. But I think that's
Definitely.
Anyway.
So, all right, then 24 is looking good, right, guys?
Yes. Heck yeah.
Guys, 2024. It's all about you and your stories. Do it your way.
The Susie, it's the Fade Into Film slogan. It's no other slogan. Have it your way with Fade Into Film.
Not have it your way. Tell it your way.
Tell it your way. Yeah.
Tell your story your way with your phone.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. There's not going to be a big claim as the last sentence for this episode, except for to tell you that right now we are spilling out the pixie dust and wishing you all the very, very best and most magical, happy 2024, which started a couple weeks ago. But hey, we've got a whole year ahead of us, huh, Levi?
Yeah, let's take this year on.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Let's take it on by the dragon
Horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drag horns.
Yes. The drag horns.
All right.
Sounds like a good
night,
group.
Say good night to our listeners.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you next time.